And she won an award at the Golden Globes, you know what I'm saying? As a black woman, that's a major accomplishment.
So Dak Prescott and his fiance have reportedly called off their wedding over a massive prenup standoff.
And that means it's going to be a new set of skills. So what makes you a sharp lawyer today may be irrelevant in 10 years.
Yo, what it do? Welcome back to another episode of BUA. I'm your host, Heru Adamu. Here we talk business, politics, love, war, and everything in between. Let's start right here in Houston. The rodeo, which used to be about culture, cattle, community, and country roots, is now turned into a nightlife runaway. Social media has turned what was once a tradition into a spectacle.
It's a bit chilly today, but the heat has definitely been on out here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. But make no mistake, it's never a day at the beach. It's the rodeo, and that means dressing the part.
The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is known for boots, hats, and family tradition. But this year, some attire is turning heads for the wrong reasons.
I saw it when I came last time.
Wait,
it was
so-
disgusting.
Wait, you said you saw?
Yeah.
What have you seen here? Some of the things that you think you shouldn't have
Stuff that
seen.
should have been hanging out, that shouldn't have been hanging out, that should have been covered up, that I'm a woman and I was looking.
From outfits that some say show too much,
The things I've been seeing just it's not appropriate at all.
to a reminder from officials, this event is meant for everyone.
Western attire.
You don't have to go full Western, but leaving little to the imagination isn't the look they're going for.
Now,
we didn't put a lot of.
If you don't know, the Houston Rodeo is just a place where you come. It's like a festival. So it's just an event where, you know, they have concerts. There's a new artist every single night. And then, you know, there's the carnival outside with the Ferris wheel and the rides. And you have like the cook-off where people come and have barbecue. And I mean, over the years, it's just been getting worse and worse as far as the attire goes. I mean, it's not about policing women. It's about like what the culture rewards at the end of the day. Like with all these rappers like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, they perpetuate this prostitution culture, which is being rewarded, and these women are getting validated so much that why would they stop, you know? I mean, but in this situation, it's a family event. It's the rodeo. You know, nobody wants to bring their kids to the rodeo and every single girl has their ass out. It used to just be a little ass out. Now it's like, it's the common trend to have your ass out. Even with other events like Halloween. Halloween is a time for women to maybe dress a little slutty or whatever, but now it's got out of hand to where it's like, this is the norm. It's really just getting real tacky, and a lot of people were unpleased with it on social media just because, like, it's not the nightlife. It's a family event where you bring your kids to. You can still look good. You can still look sexy, but you don't have to have your ass out and dress like a prostitute, especially for black women. And the black community was getting a lot of flack for the rodeo because they have, like, Black Night for the rodeo where it's like all the black people go, and they usually have, like, a black performer that night. And on Black Night, they had a fight. It was a brawl that broke out. And it was just overall embarrassing for the black community again. So I think black women were leading, and I mean, there was a lot of culture. I'm not going to say it was all black women, but I'm not here to police other cultures anyways. So like as far as the black community goes, there was a ton of black women. And I think spring break was also held in Houston. So a lot of young kids was out here in Houston too. Like, you know, so at the end of the day, there was a lot of black women that had their ass out and they were dressed like prostitutes. But we validate these women because we don't shame them. We don't have any shame in today's society. Women can do anything. You can't body shame them. You can't. I'm not really against women being half naked or being naked. If that's the culture, like there's some cultures in Africa where the women have their breast out and that's their culture. You know, there's, you know, in certain cultures, you might be naked, you know, and if that was the culture, then it would be acceptable, but it's really not the culture. So it's kind of like not classy at all. So every culture shows what it values by what it rewards. So the real question is, are we preserving tradition or replacing it by performance? And this is where it comes in with all this pornography and OnlyFans. Girls wouldn't make so much money on OnlyFans if men didn't pay for it. So these women are obviously being validated and rewarded to carry themselves like this in public. So next, we got Jonathan Major. Recently spoke up on something deeper than acting. He spoke on the system, the idea that black actors often get rewarded when they play certain roles that fit a narrative. Jonathan Majors, he was in films like Creed 3 and Marvel's King. Historically, Hollywood has typecast black actors into criminal roles, struggle narratives, trauma-based characters. Academic studies and film media show that typecasting impacts career trajectory. Studios often fund what is proven to sell, reinforce stereotypes.
Big show's coming. One of the big shows is coming. NAACP and that little gold man.
On the flip side, Tiana Taylor, she's having an amazing year.
Round of applause.
Round of applause, Tiana Taylor.
Black woman to save the world.
And she won an award at the Golden Globes, you know what I'm saying? As a black woman, that's a major accomplishment. But then I feel like it's a double-edged sword with our culture, a double-edged sword, because black people online, they had opinions. And it's like, okay, well, she won this, but why did she have to win it for playing this type of role? Kind of compared to Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
Or Denzel in Training Day.
Denzel in Training Day.
You know, I don't want to cut you off, but I think I know where you're going.
Yeah.
That the roles in which we are awarded or not snubbed or given or being invited to the big show or given access to this quote unquote mainstream tend to be roles in which we as members of the diaspora find ourselves playing what the mainstream may consider stereotypical, right? And we as a culture then go, ooh, wait, there's a disconnect there, right? We're kind of like, oh, not all of us, but some of us, the ones you're talking about online, there's a disconnect there, right? And there's conflict, there's internal conflict. Right, we want to see ourselves as kings and queens. That's how we treat each other, right? So when we get celebrated for playing something that is, in some ways, yes, we're always kings and queens, but something that is more, how to say it, Dion? Help me how to say it. Something more, actually, you don't say it. You stay out of trouble. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
I was about to give it to you.
I'll figure it out. I'll say less. Right? Like I'll say less, but I think those who know what I'm saying know what I'm saying.
So
right?
It's not about talent, it's about the narratives that get funded. You know, if you put out a good movie or you create a good movie, a good script, it's gonna be hard to get it green lighted and put on a big screen. It's gonna be hard to get it funded in general, just because it doesn't put black people down. Like if you have a movie that puts black people down, even all those slave movies, like I used to think they were putting out slave movies. They made us watch these movies in high school and all types of stuff. It's like, I thought that they were putting these movies out in respect of us. Then I got older and more conscious, and I realized they're putting out these slave movies to make us more comfortable with being slaves and these images and getting beat. Because it doesn't make anybody mad enough to do anything. It just makes you, it desensitizes you to slavery. So Tiana Taylor, I think she was up for an award in a movie that she played with Leonardo DiCaprio, and she played like a gangster role where she was shooting guns, and she was like a ghetto black woman, which I think she plays like a ghetto black woman in most of her roles. So it's hard to, and that's what they mean by typecast. You're getting typecasted into this role because you played a role like that, and they don't want to see you in another light because they know that it affects the audience and how they see you. Just like when Chad Boseman was Black Panther, he had like some level of Black Panther respect in the real world, you know, and it was really sad that he passed away. Like people felt like they lost the Black Panther. So the person on screen is one person, but to the masses and the audience, they can become that real character in real life. So this is very important for Hollywood to control. It's very important for the major studios to control the narrative of how the black community looks. And we get rewarded and we line up to receive rewards from other cultures for acting out roles that have us looking crazy. So if certain images sell, Hollywood's gonna keep on selling them. It's about money. So representation without control is not control at all. So that's why we need to control our own media. We need to have a major studio. And I think Tyler Perry has his own studio, but Tyler Perry may not even be the one that we want to control the narratives, as he's always in a dress, always acting like a female in all his films, and every single film that Tyler Perry puts out makes black men look real weak. So it's not surprising that he has his own studio and he's been able to leverage himself in that world, you know. So it's not surprising that artists that are cross-dressing and metrosexual are able to become successful in the rapper world, because that's the image that they need to control the narrative. So the question isn't just who's on screen, it's who's writing the script, who's funding the film, and deciding the version of reality that gets shown to the world. Now, in Dallas, the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has made headlines, not for football, but for a relationship situation tied to a prenup. And it brings up a bigger conversation: love money, power. Dak Prescott earns tens of millions annually. A prenup is common, with athletes, celebrities, high net worth individuals. Over 50% of marriages in the U.S. fail, so you need to protect your assets, your future earnings, your business interest. I don't know what the big deal was on why she didn't want to sign a prenup, but let's take a look at what happened here.
So Dak Prescott and his fiance have reportedly called off their wedding over a massive prenup standoff. After securing a historic $240 million contract, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and his fiance Sarah Jane Ramos were supposed to be celebrating their upcoming April wedding. The rumor is that Dak spent the last few months pushing hard for a rock-solid prenup to protect his new bag, and she flat out refused to sign it. That underlying tension finally boiled over into a massive screaming match right on the yacht, leading to their entire wedding being permanently shelved. If she really walked away just because he wanted to protect his contract, did Dak actually dodge a massive bullet here?
Can I give a hot take?
Oh, wow.
But before you get a hot take,
It's not a lack of love. It's just clarity. It's just business. Marriage is business. I got a contract for $240 million, and I want to marry you. And I believe after they get married, everything he makes after that is, she has access to it or access to half of it. But this is also another black man dating outside of his race who's worth, $250 million. And obviously his girl doesn't mess with him enough to just marry him and trust in him. She needs to take half of his money up front. She needs that contract up front. And a lot of these athletes don't understand these women are not really with you. They don't love you. They just love, most women don't love any man. They want security, which is fine. Nobody's mad about that. But in this situation, it's like a significant amount of money. Obviously, just being with the man, you can still make investments. I'm sure he'll give you $1 million to do a business or do what you need to do, open up a spa, whatever you want to do. I'm sure he'll buy assets if you have children with him. You'll still have access to capital and you'll be okay. But that's not the point. The point is to come in and secure the bag from these players. They got books on it. There's girls that wrote books on it. Like, what's her name? Brittany Renner. She wrote a whole book on how to finesse athletes out of money and sign them up and whatever. I didn't even read the book. So all I did was hear that, one of these women had a book out about finessing athletes. But like I said, there's multiple women in this space that their whole goal is to get with an athlete and break them, take all his money, whether they get pregnant. Most of the higher end women, they try to actually get married and establish themselves without a prenup. And then like a lower level woman, she's just trying to get pregnant. She's like, if I could just get pregnant, put them on child support, then I'll be good. And it's just like a lot of these athletes don't see that, and they'll get 4 or 5 women pregnant at the same time. But they have millions of dollars, so they don't really care at that time. They're just like, I got millions of dollars, I can afford all of this. But when that money slows up, it starts to really hit, But it's good for Dak to actually consider this, and I'm glad he did. But at the same time, I hope he takes care of his girl in the end. And I mean, if you do have $240 million, why not take care of your wife? Why not give her a great life? But she's not entitled to the money. It's just business. So love is emotional, but marriage, it's legal. If you don't structure right, feelings can cost you everything. They can cost you your entire life. I've seen so many men get crushed through marriage. Now, over to artificial intelligence. It isn't coming. It's already here. And the real question is, are you adapting? Or are you about to be replaced? OpenAI and others are advancing with automation rapidly. Studies estimate up to 30 to 40% of jobs could be impacted by AI. The jobs most at risk, admin work, customer service, data processing. The jobs that are growing, tech, AI operators, and creative strategic roles. So are you going to lose your job to AI in the next 4 to 5 years? Probably so. But what does that mean for the Black economy?
So anything that can be now done in that new floor by AI will be, and the things that are on top of it, it's kind of like accountants of the past used to just kind of tally up numbers. Now what are accountants doing? The top ones are helping people figure out loopholes. I'm going to put your thing in the Cayman Islands, all of this stuff. So what they do is now exercise judgment. Half of them probably can't count. But that was actually the skill of accounting 60 years ago. So yes, a lot of things are going to go away, and the professions are going to evolve into something new. And that means it's going to be a new set of skills. So what makes you a sharp lawyer today may be irrelevant in 10 years. And we still might not even call it that. But whoever, when you actually need to go to court for something, you'll probably have a team of agents and somebody that can orchestrate these agents. And maybe it's not a lawyer. Maybe it's something else that can exercise the agent in a way that they simulate your court case and figure out your plan of action. I don't know what we'll call that.
I'm excited for it. You said build upon, so it made me think about the people who have the premise of, where are we at in AI? And we kind of had this conversation like prior to starting about AI is the infrastructure, right? Like it is the thing that will be built on. Can you break down to the audience exactly how they should be looking at it a little bit differently if they're still unclear?
Yeah. So what probably most people are thinking about AI right now as like a tool or a chatbot. So you ask it a question and then it gives you the answer to that. And that's kind of like we're in the alpha beta stage of AI. What is going to happen is AI is just going to be this always on layer. And we assume that it's happening in the background. So you don't have to ask AI a specific question. You give it a goal and it's just working 24/7 in the background to get that done. And it notifies you when it needs your assistance on something. So you can kind of think about it like the internet is always on and you've built your business on top of it. You've built your website, you've built your marketing channels, you've built a social media profile, and you don't even think about the fact that it's the internet that underpins all of that. Everything is going to be rebuilt on top of this technology, and it's just going to be the assumed layer in the background. That also means, social media made sense on top of the internet. Does it make sense on top of AI? I don't know.
AI probably won't replace you, but someone using AI will. At this current moment, there's a lot of people losing jobs. I think it's been viral lately that 400,000 black men lost their jobs. 600,000 black women lost their jobs last year. But I'm not totally sure that's due to AI. A lot of it was for DEI. A lot of it is just for workforce labor and the shift in the economy. But AI definitely is getting to the point where, like she said, it's a part of your entire life. It can create your food for you, as far as your diet goes, and keep you on track with your diet. If it could already respond to emails, which is not on that level yet, but at that point, everyone's already using AI to converge their emails, to respond to emails, to create ads for business, to do marketing campaigns for them. So eventually, in the next couple of years, AI will basically do everything for you that you're doing, but you will need to be having the right mindset to train your AI on what to do. So everybody will be like mini entrepreneurs. There'll be no more jobs anymore because you'll have a bot that works for you, but you have to train your bot. And if you don't train your bot properly and you don't leverage it properly, then you'll be behind anyways. It won't be on hard labor anymore. It'll be based upon your bot. And I think personally that the bots will start costing more. Like ChatGTP, their model of $20 a month and $200 a month for like the max isn't really working. It's not a good financial structure for them right now. I think that's going to work in their favor for the tech guys moving forward in life. If you can't afford it, then you're not going to be able to compete. Like, it's just going to be like you really can't afford it. And then they'll likely give you an option to go into debt like they do with the iPhones. Like now, nobody buys an iPhone. They put payments on the iPhone. They have the newest iPhone that they can't afford. So we might get to an economy where you have to have the newest AI to be able to compete or be socially acceptable into certain circles to even have a certain level of like intelligence or level of status. And that AI bot is going to be very expensive and people are going to be in debt to just have it to be able to compete. But they won't be working like they used to work. But at the same time, they still won't have the status in life and the level in life. It's not going to level everything out where everyone's on the same level now. They're obviously going to make it to where you can't have access to this level of bot until you get into these social classes or you're networked in with these people. Because it's all about social networks. It's all about who you know. It's all about who your culture is and what race you come from. That's what it's really about. So They're going to try to suppress the black and brown people to not have access to the higher levels of technology. And they're going to be using higher levels of technology and tell you that you don't have access to it as they control the banking system and things like that. But the scary part is that people at the bottom could also use these tools to change the game, which they will eventually call illegal. Like whatever it is for the people at the bottom to change the game with the new technology, that's going to be now illegal, you know? So that's basically how they control the game. So it's not going to, I think one of my friends said that AI will one day be used by women to destroy men because it levels out the playing field. But men wouldn't allow AI to do that, you know, because they would set some level of separation there. They wouldn't allow women to use it in that way because now women wouldn't be able to use AI. It'll be illegal. You see what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's all about weapons. It's all about danger. And that's what's being used right now in warfare. Bots and drones are being used right now. So it's all about who has access to those things. So although we have AI and the capabilities, everybody won't have access. And if you do want access, you're going to have to put yourself in debt and become some type of slave in some type of way, or maybe not be able to leave your apartment, maybe not be able to do certain things that other people can do that have access to higher levels of AI. So it's just going to be levels and levels of that again. But people may not even just go outside anymore because there's no use to go outside to do anything. But your level is based upon the access to technology that you have. But that's just my opinion. We'll see how the future goes. The future, it doesn't wait. And neither does the system. The system, it just replaces you. For conversations, one message: the world is changing. Culture, media, relationships, and work is evolving all in real time. One real question is, are you watching it happen? Or are you making it happen? It's Heru Adamu. It's another episode of BUA. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to see y'all on the next